What's up, y'all? Now look, do you want to know exactly what you should be focusing on in order to land those beautiful return offers from your internship? Well, you're in luck because that's exactly what we're going to be discussing today. I'll be talking about how I landed my return offer from Microsoft, and I'll also be sharing with you some advice from a senior partner here at Microsoft when I asked him directly what can interns do to get their return offer. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I'll just be rapid firing giving his advice at the end of this video. Hi, my name is Logan. I'm a software engineer at Microsoft, and on this channel I help people like you land jobs in big tech and dominate once you do. So let's jump right into this so that you can understand exactly what to focus on for your internship. Let's get those return offers. Okay, so the first thing that you should focus on is production. I mean, this is the most obvious one, and so I'm actually just gonna blow through it quickly because you already know this, but that's basically just like actually producing something. So in your internship, try to make sure that you get on a project where you think that there's gonna be a light at the end of the tunnel, or at least you can give some type of proof of concept so that you actually do some work while you're there. But I will give you a nice secret here, and that is that your company doesn't actually expect interns to do anything real. I mean, it's really cool if they can. Like, I love an intern that actually ends up with a really good project at the end that we can actually use into the future, but that's actually not the expectation that the company has. Really, the point of interns is to search for talent. And so if you can show that you're a talented engineer, you're a talented human being, then you have a really good chance at the return offer. So focus on production for sure, write lines of code, try to make a product in the end, give them a POC, something like that. Don't just overly stress about it. But honestly, if that's all the company cares about at the end of the day, like how many lines of code you write, Meta, Amazon, looking at you guys, then they might be a company that's kind of known for a pretty tough work-life balance. Now, that's honestly cool if you want to go down that road as well. You can learn a ton from working at companies like that, so that's up to you. So yes, try to focus on getting some production done, but I'm just saying that producing something tangible isn't like the end-all be-all. There are other ways to get that beautiful return offer, but try to do it if you can. Alright, so the second thing you should be focusing on in order to get that return offer is being a good teammate. And honestly, this is a huge one. More and more companies are shifting towards really focusing on culture fit and team fit as a big part of their hiring process. And so if you can be a good teammate and show that you already have this culture fit on lock, then that is going to be a big plus to you in getting the return offer, especially if the return offer is going to send you back to the same team that you were already working with. So that begs the question, how do we actually be a good teammate? Well, the first thing that you want to do is just be excited. When you're getting on meetings with your team, whether it's like a stand-up or just like a one-on-one or something, you want to be smiling. You want to be passionate about the work that the team is doing. You want to be interested in what they're talking about, making sure you're trying to learn what they're saying, learn what the projects are, and you want to ask questions and show your interest. This will actually go a lot further than you think, so don't sleep on this one. Being excited about the work that the team is doing is going to make people a lot happier with you, and it's just gonna feel like you're really already integrating into the team from day one. Another way you can be a good teammate is to set up one-on-ones with everyone on your team. So work to do this within the first week of your internship. I'm not saying that you have to have all the meetings within your first week, but try to set them up. That's going to show that you actually care about the people on your team. You care about the work that they're doing. You care about their background. You just care about them. And it tells them, it gives them a signal that you're probably a good person to work with long term because you're interested in their lives, their personal lives, their professional lives, what projects they're working on, and you're interested in learning more about them. It also gives you a chance to tell them more about yourself, and then you can have like a more personal relationship, and that can really go a long way in your return offer status because these are the people that are going to be giving the feedback to your manager, etc. And if they like working with you, that's a great sign. It makes it a lot easier for them to give you a great offer. Okay, diving deeper in this how to be a great teammate, I want to share a story with you. So when I was an intern at Microsoft, I saw an opportunity to take a huge load off one of my teammates. So I was doing some work and they were doing some adjacent work as well. And honestly, they really didn't have time. They had a ton on their plate and they didn't have time to do this work. And I thought to myself, okay, I think that I can actually take on that part of their tasks and still be able to complete my own work. And so I actually just pinged them and I said, hey, I noticed that you were doing this. They were asking you some questions about it and you were gonna follow up with them, I was wondering if I could maybe take a crack at that for you. And look, I know that I'm just an intern, but I think I might be able to provide some value here and at least get you a nice head start. So they were really happy about this and they said, absolutely, go for it. I mean, you can imagine, right? And so I did the work. They were actually happy with it. And they said, no, there's nothing that needs to be changed here. And I actually took this on as another job through that entire summer. And so this was like a huge plus to me at the end of the internship, where they felt like I was like a really good teammate and I was a go-getter and I was like willing to, you know, do the extra work, put the extra hours in, etc. And it was honestly not even that big of a deal for me, but I wanted to make sure that they felt like I was a good teammate. And so I took this load off of them and it really went a long way. So don't like do this over your production. Like if you have a project that's just insane and you can barely keep your head above water, that's totally okay. But just be cognizant of the fact that you could actually add value to the people on your team or your manager even by taking on a few extra tasks that might not even be that bad for you, but will make you look amazing in the end. Now, the last way to be a great teammate is to actually look for opportunities to interact with other teams. And so I actually got to work with a team in Beijing, China during my internship. They were all geniuses. It was really awesome. They all had PhDs and they were experts on machine learning. So that was really cool to be able to work with them. And I actually learned a ton from that as well. But what I didn't know at the time was that my manager loved that I was doing this. So I actually had a one-on-one with my manager. You know, I did them pretty regularly, but I had like a specific one near the end of my internship. And he said that one of the things that impressed him most about me was how I was able to work with this team, especially like with the time difference. They were 12 hours ahead of me at the time, and he thought that that was like really awesome, and it showed that I would be able to interact with teams and that Microsoft could trust me because, you know, they do a ton of interaction, not just within Microsoft, but with other companies as well. So look for opportunities to interact with other teams and do that professionally and let the team realize that they can trust you with that. Now, the third thing that you should be focusing on in order to get a return offer is learning. Now look, I know that might sound really basic, but it is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. As an intern or even like early in your career, there's so much to learn. There's so many acronyms, there's so much domain knowledge that you need to know before you can even really get going. And this is honestly the main thing that they're looking for in an intern. Yes, like I said, they would love it if you actually produce something real, but if you show them that you have the ability to learn, the ability to grow, and you have the drive and the curiosity, that's gonna say that your ceiling is really high and they are gonna be very inclined to get you on full time. And so how you do that is you want to be asking questions, right? But you wanna ask the right questions. And so yeah, there are no dumb questions. I like agree with that to a point, but what you wanna do here is try things. So you wanna try 2 to 3 things on your own and then come to somebody and say, hey, here's what I tried, but I'm still stuck in this area. Do you think you could give me some guidance? And that is gonna be like honestly really amazing. They're gonna love you for that. The other thing you wanna do is ask questions around the space, like around what your team is working on. And so look it up, like look up stuff like, you know, say your team is doing FPGAs and you're like, I don't have that much experience with FPGAs. Look up some tutorials on FPGAs, like work with some if you can, etc. And then go to your team and say, here's what I've been learning about this. I wanna know if you can, you know, dive deeper into what the work is that we're actually doing in this area. And this is kind of stuff that they love to see, and it's like clear that you have a curiosity to learn and you wanna learn, and then you have the ability to learn. So when somebody tells you something, take that information and try to do something with it. That's really gonna start to set you apart from other interns, and it's something that a lot of interns aren't really doing. They wanna kind of sit and be told what to do, but if you can take some initiative to learn on your own and then actually apply that, it's going to go a long way, and you're gonna have a much better shot at the return offer. And even outside of the return offer, I just wanna make this quick point. It's like, this is what the internship is for anyway, right? You're really there just to learn. So use that experience. Don't get so wrapped up in the return offer. I mean, I want to make this video because I do think the return offer is important. I mean, and it's cool to know what to focus on. But the main thing you really should be doing is learning. And during my internship, I definitely wanted the return offer. Don't get me wrong. I was focused on it, right? I was making steps directly towards that. But I had a good mentor that talked to me about this point right here. That, hey, you're really here to learn. And I took that advice to heart, and it really changed the game for me, and it made the whole experience a lot more enjoyable. I wasn't like super stressed just trying to get that return offer. I was actually enjoying myself, and I knew even if I didn't get it, I learned so much here that I can take forward into my future career, into my personal life even. So look, just take a minute to relax and say, I'm here to learn anyway. And yes, it will also help you get the return offer, but look, it's a good perspective to have, so I wanted to share that with you. All right, the fourth thing that you want to focus on in order to get your return offer is taking calculated risks. So this point definitely lends itself to another story. During my internship, the first week, my manager came to me and he said, okay, I have two options for you for your projects. One of them is going to be, it was kind of like a data visualization type of project. And the benefits that he was saying for that one was like, for one, the team actually needed it. They really thought that they could use it. And the other thing was that he felt like it was, scoped down enough. It was contained enough that he felt I would be able to finish it within the 12 weeks and we'd have like a nice project to show and say, hey, he actually produced this, and that would help me get the return offer or what have you. So, okay, that was cool. That was project number one. That's kind of like a pretty common intern project, to be honest with you. Then he hit me with project number two. And this one was going to be around expiration. It was going to be something brand new that they hadn't done before. It was going to give me the opportunity to work with machine learning and artificial intelligence. And these were concepts that I really found interesting. And on top of all that, it had great future business implications. And so this kind of was seeming like a no-brainer. I was like, wow, this project sounds amazing. And then he hit me with the catch. He looked at me and he said, Logan, I do want to let you know though, there's no way that you're finishing this project. And so that just definitely instilled me with a ton of confidence, right? I was like, wow, I definitely want to sign up for that one now. But in all honesty, I mean, he laid it out for me and he said, hey, this one is definitely a bit more risky. We could get to the end of the 12 weeks and you have pretty much nothing to show for why you were here. And that could make things dicey with the return offer. But I looked at my options here, and the second project was just so much more interesting. I could tell my manager was very excited about it, which meant that he was going to also put the work in to make sure that I was going to be successful with it, because they actually wanted to use whatever I was able to accomplish in the future. And I just said, I'm going for it. I'm not gonna lie, like, it was pretty scary because we were sitting in so I had 12-week internship. Week 11, we still had basically nothing. I mean, had tried many experiments over the summer. I still felt like I was learning, but I was getting kind of nervous as far as the actual return offer, because I wasn't sure what I had really produced. And then, thank the Lord, thank you, Lord. It just broke open in that last week, got an amazing proof of concept done, had amazing preliminary results. And when I presented it out, the head of the org was like, this is the most interesting project that's being worked on right now. I mean, it just worked out insanely well, and it actually gave me a ton of leverage as well to negotiate once I did get the return offer. And I'll talk about negotiating in a separate video, but a quick sneak peek at the first point with that, always negotiate. But regardless, it gave me a nice leg to stand on, because I had done a project that actually gave some really cool results, and it wouldn't have happened if I didn't take that risk. Yes, I probably still would have got the return offer with the first project, but I wouldn't have had as much fun, I wouldn't have learned a lot, and it wouldn't have shown my character and that I'm willing to actually take that risk, which was a big part in why they wanted me to come back. And so all around, it just was a good idea. And so I really think that you should take calculated risks as well. And this was calculated right, because I still felt like, we're probably going to be able to produce something that says that my time was worth it here, but it was a risk nonetheless, because the first project, for sure would have finished that within the 12 weeks, probably even sooner, maybe been able to even work on a second project or something like that. But I wouldn't have had as much fun, wouldn't have learned as much, and I probably wouldn't have gotten as good of a return offer as I did after I negotiated. So just don't be afraid of this. Look for some risks that you can take yourself and go for it. And the fifth and final thing you should be focusing on, the last point I'm going to make before I get into what a senior partner at Microsoft had to say about getting a return offer, is to network. Networking is one of the #1 things you should be focusing on in your internship as far as outside of your project. So you have your main project, and then you have networking. Look, you have so much opportunity as an intern, and everybody wants to talk to you. Like, you can get the ear of so many crazy people. Like, I talked to some super high up people in Microsoft just because I was an intern. They really invest time in their interns. They want to see talent return. And so seriously, take advantage of this. I mean, I actually had 2 mentors outside of like my team mentors over the summer, and I would meet with one of them every other week, the other one every single week. And it was just like an amazing way to understand different parts of the business, how to operate as a software engineer, and to just get career advice in general. And here's the other thing. Make sure you're letting your manager know that you're doing this stuff. So yeah, you want to do it for yourself and your personal growth, but managers love people that network. So talk to your manager, say, yeah, I was talking to my mentor Jeff and he was saying this, or I was talking to, you know, this person on this team and they were talking to me about how, oh, this is how the sales work at Microsoft, or this is how like the strategy sessions go. And then your manager might ask you like, how were you able to set this up? And then you say, oh yeah, I just reached out to them and asked them a couple questions and it just like evolved from there, or something like that. And you know, it just shows that you're willing to learn, and you, again, you're showing that growth mindset, you're showing a high ceiling, and this is going to really help you in the return offer. And so now I want to get into what my skip level, a partner software engineering manager at Microsoft, had to say about interns getting return offers. But before I do, I just want to say, if you've gotten any value out of this video, please like it, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here, and it really goes a long way to help me continue to bring content just like this. And so now I'm just pretty much going to rapid fire this advice that this partner software engineering manager gave around getting a return offer as an intern. So the first thing he said was that you want to focus on learning. Huh, that sounds familiar. No, but seriously, he did hammer this point home. I mean, he was saying that, look, we don't expect interns to be knowing a lot of information in the beginning, but if they're focused on learning and they're asking questions, that really gives us a great signal that they're going to be able to learn and they're going to be able to handle the things that we do in this company. The next point that he hammered home is that he said interns really love to be told what to do. So when we get an intern that is looking for opportunities to take initiative on their own, that is an amazing signal that we need this person in the company, and that is one of the #1 ways to get a return offer. So make sure you're actually looking for opportunities to insert yourself and add value on your own instead of just waiting for what to do. Go and say, hey, I finished this up. What can I do next? How can I help the team? How can I add value today? How can I take something off your plate? The next thing that he said was important was a culture fit. So he just said that you need to be a good teammate. You need to be somebody that exemplifies the culture of the company. And so at Microsoft, that means growth mindset. And that means like forever student, I'm always learning and I have the capacity to learn. So make sure you understand the culture of the company and then do your best to exemplify that. And actually also see if it's a culture fit for yourself. And if you actually do align with those values, then it's going to be easy for you to try to exemplify those because it's actually going to make you a better person anyway. And the last thing that he was saying was to pick an area that you're passionate about. Now this was an interesting one because he was actually looping in like new hires and interns in the same kind of category here. But basically what he was saying was try to figure out what you really love to do and then make that known and like do extra projects in that area, or just like try to be focused on that and become like the best person in the room at that thing. And obviously you're probably not going to be the best person in the room straight away, but he was saying like it's cool if you can like get something that you're excited about and then it's clear that you have passion around that and people just can feel it and they love to work with you and they like to watch you grow in that area. And so those are the tips from the partner software engineering manager at Microsoft. I hope they helped you a lot as well. So now I want you to leave a comment down below, talk about your best tips in order to land the return offer. Talk to us about things that I missed or just add on to the points that I made as well. We would love to hear it, and I know that your fellow software engineering interns would love to hear it too. But for now, that is it for me. And remember, we'll all make it together. Just gotta keep praying.